Hi my friends, how are we doing today? Are you ready for our read aloud? Are we ready to find out what happens to Jack and Annie at their new adventure? Right? Do you remember where they wished to go? Or actually it was Annie, right? Where did she wish to go? Right, that's right, to the castle with the knight with that nice looking black horse. All right, so let's get going. Chapter 3, Across the Bridge. Excuse me. Annie was under the tree, looking across the foggy ground. The knight's riding toward that bridge, I think, said Annie. The bridge goes to the castle. Wait, I'll look it up, said Jack. Give me the flashlight. He took the flashlight from her and pulled the castle book out of his pack. He opened it to the page with the leather bookmark. He read the words under the picture of the knight. This is a knight arriving for a castle feast. Do you know what a feast is? It's like a gathering with really good food, right? Almost kind of like Thanksgiving. A lot of food, a lot of people. Knights wore armor when they traveled long and dangerous distances. The armor was very heavy. A helmet alone could weigh up to 40 pounds. Wow! Jack had weighed 40 pounds when he was 5 years old. How much do you weigh? Do you weigh at least 40 pounds? So it'd be like riding a horse with a 5-year-old on your head, or maybe you on their head. Jack pulled out his notebook. He wanted to take notes as he had done on their dinosaur trip. He wrote, heavy head. What else? He turned the pages of the castle book. He found a picture that showed the whole castle and the buildings around it. The knight's crossing the bridge, said Annie. He's going through the gate. He's gone. Jack studied the bridge in the picture. He read, a drawbridge crossed the moat. The moat was filled with water to help protect the castles from enemies. Some people believe crocodiles were kept in the moat. So did you understand that? So in your head, close your eyes, picture your castle. Okay, how are you going to protect your castles from people getting in, right? So imagine around your castle, all like a little river going all the way around your castle. Maybe a little bit deeper than a river for a crocodile to live in, right? And so then you'd have to have a drawbridge to get from the land to your castle. Jack wrote in his notebook, crocodiles in moat? Look, said Annie, peering through the mist, a windmill right over there. Yeah, there's a windmill in here too, said Jack, pointing at the picture. Look at the real one, Jack, said Annie, not the one in the book. A piercing shriek split the air. Yikes, said Annie. It sounded like it came from that little house over there. She pointed through the fog. There's a little house here, said Jack. Studying the picture, he turned the page and read, the hawk house was in the inner ward of the castle. Hawks were trained to hunt other birds and small animals. Jack wrote in his notebook, hawks and hawk house. Okay, here's a picture. He's studying the book and she's looking at the real things, right? We must be in the inner ward, said Jack. Listen, whispered Annie. You hear that? Drums? Horns? They're coming from the castle. Let's go see. Wait, said Jack. He turned more pages of the book. I want to see what's really going on, Jack. Now, what's in the book, said Annie. But look at this, said Jack. He pointed to a picture of a big party. Men were standing by the door playing drums and horns. He read, fanfares were played to announce different dishes in a feast. Feasts were held in the great hall. You can look at the book. I'm going to the real feast, said Annie. Wait, said Jack, studying the picture. It showed boys his age carrying trays of food. Whole pigs, pies, peacocks with all their feathers. Peacocks, Jack wrote. They eat peacocks? He held up the book to show Annie. Look, I think they eat. Where was she? Gone again? Jack looked through the fog. He heard the real drums and the real horns. He saw the real hawk house, the real windmill, the real moat. He saw Annie dashing across the real drawbridge when she vanished through the gate leading to the castle. Chapter 4, Into the Castle. I'm gonna kill her, muttered Jack. He threw his stuff into his pack and moved toward the drawbridge. He hoped no one would see him. It was getting darker. It must be night. When he got to the bridge, he started across. The wooden planks creaked under his feet. He peered over the edge of the bridge. Were there any crocodiles in the moat? He couldn't tell. "Halt!" someone shouted. A guard on top of the castle wall was looking down. Jack dashed across the bridge. He ran through the castle gate and into the courtyard. From inside the castle came the sounds of music, shouting, and laughter. Jack hurried to a dark corner and crouched down. He shivered as he looked around for Annie. Torches lit the high wall around the courtyard. The courtyard was nearly empty. Two boys led horses that clumped over the gray cobblestones. "Nee!" Jack turned. It was the knight's black horse. Psst! He peered into the darkness. There was Annie. She was hiding behind a well in the center of the courtyard. She waved at him. Jack waved back. He waited till the boys and horses disappeared inside the stable. Then he dashed to the well. "I'm going to find the music," whispered Annie. "Are you coming?" "Okay," Jack said with a sigh. They tiptoed together across the cobblestones. Then they slipped into the entrance of the castle. Noise and music came from a bright room in front of them. They stood on one side of the doorway and peeked in. "The feast in the great hall," whispered Jack. He held his breath as he stared in awe. A giant fireplace blazed at one end of the noisy room. Antlers and rugs hung on the stone walls. Flowers covered the floor. Boys in short dresses carried huge trays of food. Dogs were fighting over bones under the tables. People in bright clothes and funny hats strolled among the crowd. Some played funny-shaped guitars. Some tossed balls in the air. Some balanced swords on their hands. Men and women dressed in capes and furs sat along crowded wooden tables. "I wonder which one is the knight," said Jack. "I don't know," whispered Annie, "but they're eating with their fingers." Suddenly, someone shouted behind them. Jack whirled around. A man carrying a tray of pies was standing a few feet away. "Who art thou?" he asked angrily. "Jack," squeaked Jack. "Annie," squeaked Annie. Then they ran as fast as they could down a dimly lit hallway. See that? Oh, are they about to get caught? Ooh, I don't know. We'll have to wait till tomorrow. All right, my lovelies, snack time is over. I hope you are enjoying this book as much as we enjoyed the dinosaur one. All right, I'll see y'all later. Bye.